The mysterious death of a flamboyant tycoon. How did it happen? Voters decide whether gun makers should be liable in murders. And Eye on America, the economy, homeowners caught in a money crunch. Find a way out. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. A mystery at sea. The death of Robert Maxwell and the case of the billionaire media mogul with a background as an intelligence operative and many enemies in the world of finance. His body found today in the ocean. Maxwell was last seen before dawn aboard his luxury yacht off the Canary Islands in the Atlantic. Hours later, searchers found his body. 60 Minutes correspondent Mike Wallace has covered the Maxwell story for a long time.
Sure led to a massive air search. Maxwell had been sailing on his yacht, the Lady Ghislaine, when he mysteriously vanished.
A business call to the ship from New York was put through to Mr. Maxwell's stateroom. There was no reply, and as a result, the captain, Gus Rankin, and a member of the crew went to his cabin. They could find no trace of Mr. Maxwell.
A body identified as his was found floating in the waters off the Canaries, but there was no clue as to what had happened, and colleagues who had seen him recently say that he was healthy and optimistic.
I spoke to him last night, and he seemed okay to me. Love him or hate him, he touched the lives of many thousands of people, many millions of people.
Just give him the message, please, and stop giving us a hard time.
The 68-year-old publishing magnate could be tough, prickly, demanding. When I spoke to Robert Maxwell last for a 60 Minutes profile, I asked him about what one of his own editors had written about him. Well, he says that many people see you as, his words, flamboyant, vulgar, insufferable, ruthless, brazen, fiery, humorless, impatient, intolerant, rude. You
this is an authorized biographer.
And he likes you.
Well, there you are.
Yeah. To how much of that do you plead guilty?
I plead guilty to all of it.
Maxwell was born Jan Ludwig Hock of Jewish peasants in Czechoslovakia. During World War II, he made his way to England and wound up a British Army captain decorated for bravery. He amassed a fortune in publishing, owned several soccer teams, was a Labour member of the House of Commons, and put together a communications conglomerate worth an estimated $2 billion. Beyond money, his passions were family, Israel, and most recently, America. Earlier this year, he purchased the New York Daily News, projecting himself onto the Manhattan scene.
Thank you all.
Maxwell was a man not unfamiliar with controversy. Recently, there were charges of his ties to the Mossad, the Israeli equivalent of our CIA. The man who made the charge is investigative reporter Seymour Hersh.
The fact is that we're just at the top of the iceberg on this whole case. It's a mess. It's going to be a real mess.
It is well known that Maxwell was having money troubles and recently had to sell part of his empire to raise cash. But when I last talked to him, the bouncing check, as he's been called, was still going strong. When will you have arrived? Or will you never get there?
I will never arrive. I will always have the next peak to climb. That's the purpose or purposelessness of life.
An adventurer in business, tireless in his pursuit of public acclaim, by turns compassionate and a bully to those who worked for him, philanthropist, power seeker, Robert Maxwell, a man of huge appetites, dead at 68. Dan?
Mike Wallace, thanks. A big win for President Bush tonight, and they are celebrating at the White House. The Senate voted 64-31 to confirm President Bush's favorite, Robert Gates, to head the CIA. Gates had faced lengthy questions about the weapons for Iran deal and charges from inside the CIA that he slanted intelligence to fit the agenda and ideology of higher-ups. Bob Schieffer has our report.
Gates left home today knowing the Senate would give him overwhelming approval, which just underlines what a difference a few weeks can make here. At Senate hearings, Gates faced real trouble. Former CIA colleagues said Gates and his old boss William Casey had slanted intelligence reports in the 1980s.
Casey and Gates arrogated to themselves the power to make intelligence judgments, that they had contempt for a process designed to allow independent analysis.
Gates flatly denied it, but conceded he had enemies.
But
But the selection of the head of American intelligence is not a popularity contest. I sure as hell wouldn't win one at CIA.
That tough defense won Gates some points, but then came an unexpected boost. The Clarence Thomas hearings blew up in the Senate's face. As polls showed a growing disgust with Congress, several senators said the Senate just lost the stomach for another nasty fight. By today, opposition was pro forma.
However, there are too many unanswered questions.
Kennedy of Massachusetts raced through an anti-Gates speech as if he were late to another appointment.
Too many attempts to slant intelligence, and I intend to vote no on this nomination and urge my colleagues to do the same.
Heflin of Alabama, an early Thomas opponent, said the White House deserved the benefit of the doubt. This time,
there should be a certain deference to and trust in the president's choices for executive branch appointments.
Gates goes to the CIA at a time the United States spends $30 billion a year on intelligence gathering. Unfortunately, the Gates debate produced no consensus on the most important question Gates and this huge bureaucracy will face.
And that question is, of course, who do they spy on now that the Cold War is over? Dan?
Bob Schieffer, thanks. New York's Governor Mario Cuomo said today he will not be, quote, stampeded into making any decision on running for president. For those expecting an announcement on a television call-in show tomorrow night, the New York governor had this advice, quote, don't bother staying up. Cuomo, who sometimes is called Hamlet on the Hudson, said he can't make a decision until he has a handle on New York's budget problems. This is Election Day 1991, mostly local races. Some are testing grounds for themes and tactics in next year's presidential campaign. Pennsylvania had today's only U.S. Senate race. Democrat Harris Wofford hit hard at economic issues from the standpoint of the middle class to whittle away the huge lead of President Bush's favorite, former Attorney General Richard Thornburgh. Mr. Bush had his own explanation for why the race went so close right down to the wire.
Obviously, we're very strongly for Dick Thornburgh, and we'll see. But the negative campaign that was run against him based on trying to blame him for problems that he had, over which he had no control, maybe that's a harbinger of things to come.
In Washington state, voter disgust was on the ballot with a measure to limit the terms of elected officials. Among those voting no today, U.S. House Speaker Tom Foley, first elected to Congress in 1964. If this measure should pass and holds up in court, Foley could serve only one more two-year term. Also on the Washington state ballot, a landmark measure legalizing doctor-assisted suicide, and another to guarantee abortion rights. And in Washington, D.C., a gun control measure on the ballot aims to reduce the slaughter in the streets by shooting down the profits of gun dealers. CBS News law correspondent Rita Braver has our report on that.
I got a new name.
Reverend Beecher Hicks and the members of the Metropolitan Baptist Church want to see more of this in their city. Instead, they are seeing more of this: murder. Just blocks from the church, John Folks' brother Bernard was an innocent victim of a drive-by shooting.
I was there when he collapsed in front of the dining room. I was there when the policewoman said, we're losing him, we're losing him.
It is that violence that has Reverend Hicks and other Washington clergy preaching in favor of the controversial referendum that would hold manufacturers and dealers of assault weapons responsible for injuries their guns cause in Washington, D.C.
The manufacturer will be financially liable for the death and the destruction that he's brought to our streets.
The referendum is expected to pass, but opponents say it ignores the real issue.
Which is some young hoodlums in this town who are running amok.
And the pro-gun lobby says the new law will never hold up in court.
First, it'd be very similar to in a drunk driving case, holding Ford Motor Company liable for the actions of a drunk driver.
Reverend Hicks disagrees.
It's time for us to begin to put ourselves back in a posture where we no longer are victimized by persons who deliberately send to us the weapons of war.
And the citizens of this congregation are more than ready to do battle in the courts if it stems the war in their streets. Rita Braver, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, new accusations of racism from within. the Los Angeles Police Department, and some remarkable pictures of a handful of miracles.
Larry Keller, Marengo, Illinois.
Marguerite Doyle, Atlanta.
In every town, you'll find them. Teammates of our Olympic hopefuls.
Charlie Vaughan, Slidell, Louisiana.
For every time you buy a Kellogg's cereal, Kellogg's contributes to our Olympic Hopefuls Fund, a donation up to $1 million.
Stella Nellen, Sherman, Texas.
With every purchase, you join the team. As individuals, we can do so little. As teammates, we can do so much.
When you're all stuffed up and use an ordinary nasal spray, it drips into your tissue where it can't help you breathe. But not Sinex Ultrafine Mist. Its medicine stays where you need it, so you can breathe the way you want to. We don't drip down, we clear up.
What a feeling, feeling fresh.
Fix-It Fresh has a crisp, clean feeling and a stronger hold than any other cream adhesive. A fresh feeling and stronger hold are two great reasons to fix it and forget it.
There are new charges of racism against the Los Angeles Police Department. This time, as correspondent Jerry Bowen reports, the accusations are coming from inside the ranks of the LAPD.
Delayed fallout today from last spring's notorious Rodney King incident. Stinging charges by Los Angeles' largest Black Police Officers Association that the beating of the black motorist by 4 white officers mirrors the city at large. An incident, quote, indicative of the deteriorating relationship between the African-American community and the department. A department where, quote, there is strong evidence to suggest that discriminatory practices have had a high level of tolerance. The Black Officers Group contends that response to crimes against affluent whites is given a higher priority than crimes against blacks, that officers who complain about racism are subject to reprisals from management. LA Police Chief Daryl Gates, not singled out in the report for criticism, said there's no racism in his office.
All officers, I look at all officers, I don't distinguish them as black, Hispanic, they're police officers, LAPD officers, and they're all near and dear to me, and I like them all, I don't distinguish between them.
But the Black Officers Group, representing more than 1/3 of the department's African Americans, charges there is racial discrimination at every other level, that wearing the badge is no shield against racial bias within the LAPD. Jerry Bowen, CBS News, Los Angeles.
An update tonight on our stories about Jackson, Mississippi's first black police chief. David Walker came to the job 9 months ago, pledging he would not tolerate brutality by his officers. The Jackson, Mississippi mayor has now fired Chief Walker. Official reason, quote, a difference in management style. In Sarasota, Florida, the actor who plays Pee Wee Herman has agreed to a plea bargain deal. Paul Rubens will plead no contest to charges of indecent exposure. He will pay a $50 fine and make an anti-drug public service announcement. Under this deal, Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, will have no criminal record. The price of a first-class letter will stay 29 cents, at least for now. The Postal Service governors today rejected a 1-cent increase. The Postmaster General is warning that his next request for higher rates will now have to be bigger and come sooner than planned, as much as a nickel up in early 1994. Stay here with us now for more CBS News, including Eye on America, the economy. Tonight, the money crunch and a way to keep your home off the block.
Why do more people choose more of each of these brands at Sears Brand Central? One reason is that this 2-Lux LXI camcorder with built-in 8x power zoom and high-speed shutter is now at a low $5.99, only at Sears Brand Central.
Once again, Buick is raising the banner for quality in America. Introducing the 1992 LeSabre with a higher level of power, safety, security, and convenience. This new LeSabre is going to be one tough act to follow. LeSabre for 1992 from Buick.
You know, if you drink a lot of fruit juice...
And apparently you do.
That's my point. Sunsweet prune juice makes a really delicious change of pace from these other juices.
You mean there are people who still haven't tried Sunsweet prune juice?
Hard to believe with my charisma.
A cold always starts small. A stuffy nose, a little sneeze.
But before you know it, your cold is full grown. That's when you need Dimetap. If it was any stronger, you'd need a prescription. Doctor-recommended Dimetap Extend tabs work for 12 full hours. It's the way to relieve the congestion and sneezing of a full-grown cold. Maximum strength Dimetap Extend tabs. Relief for the full-grown cold.
Massacre in a Texas town. A madman out of control or a deliberate plan. 48 Hours reveals what the police found out Wednesday.
You may have seen and heard our interview on this broadcast last night with Soviet Communist Authority Igor Ligachev talking about how tough a winter is going to be. With that in mind, in Moscow, thousands of shoppers were fighting over a few loaves of bread today. The head of the Russian KGB is predicting food riots before long. The shoppers are in a panic over plans to lift price controls. And now the Soviet government has devalued the ruble again. With empty shops, a nearly worthless currency, panic beginning to set in, Anthony Mason reports Soviet consumers are going back to the basics of trade.
Alexander Sarshov is playing Let's Make a Deal, shopping for clothes, building supplies, items money can't buy in the Soviet Union, but he has something better. Kapusta. Cabbage, as we call it. In the crazy Soviet economy where nobody wants rubles anymore, kapusta has become a currency. Mr. Sarshov runs this state farm, whose workers, like everybody else here, just want to get through the tough winter ahead. Of course we have to swap for things, say the machete-bearing babushkas, because there's nothing in the shops. The farmers who used to worry about fulfilling the party's annual quota have discovered that there's no end to what a cabbage can get you. As one here put it, life pushed us to do this. 1,000 pounds of cabbage bought these television sets that arrived this morning. And we just traded vegetables for these shoes, says Sasha. We bartered 10% of our crop for 1 million rubles worth of merchandise. Meanwhile, across Mr. Sarshov's desk, emissaries from a Moscow movie studio are offering the only product they have. We make cartoons, they say. We could show our movies to your workers. It's a Kapusta for Culture deal. It's humiliating to have to beg like this, says the studio's deputy director, but Yevgeny Chunkin is out in the fields making sure his workers have something to eat. He trucks his tons the hour's drive back to Moscow to the film studio's backyard. Natasha, come get your cabbage, says Tamara, the film editor, now Kapusta Commissar. With their economy in chaos this fall, barter is how many Soviets are getting by. And so it's a deal, says Alexander Sarshov. He's just bought some food processing equipment. While out in the fields, they're cutting the kapusta to pay for it. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Moscow.
When you call 1-800-4CHOICE, you get more than a great room at any Choice Hotel. You can also
bring the little buckaroos along for free at any Choice Hotel, like Econolodge, Roadway, or Friendship.
That's very smart. Excite your husband at any Quality, Comfort, Clarion, or Sleep Hotel where weekend rates start at $29.
I'm excited. I get a 30% senior discount just for staying alive this long.
Would you believe they have corporate rates up to 30% off?
I can believe that.
At more than 2,500 Choice Hotels worldwide.
Unbelievable.
So you could save a fortune.
And after a life like mine, that's about the biggest thrill that I can take. But to get any of these deals, you've got to call. That's 1-800-4.
CHOICE.
Oh, they've got yours, Dave.
Hey, I thought that was my line.
Bye-bye.
To get your choice of great rooms and a great deal almost anywhere, call 1-800-4CHOICE.
In art, matters of taste are often subjective. But in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast gourmet cat food. In a bowl single-serving can. Exceptionally moist, uniquely delicious. For a gourmet taste to satisfy even the most discriminating connoisseurs. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
They say when you have a cold, eat chicken soup, but did you know that eating certain foods may prevent disease? Meals That Heal, all this week on CBS This Morning. It's breakfast for your head.
Coverage of economics in tonight's Eye on America. There hasn't been anything like it since the Great Depression. Nearly 2,000 American families are losing their homes to foreclosure every day, caught in a money crunch. For most, there is a way out. Eric Ingberg tonight shows us in The Money Crunch, Making It in America.
Grid number 504.
It is auction day at Philadelphia City Hall.
6,000. 7,000. 7,100. 7,300.
Here, the recession means business is booming.
I have $15,900.
Homes are going on the block because the owners can't meet their mortgage payments. 3 missed payments is all it takes for the banks to start foreclosure.
26,000.
30,000. Pile a recession on top of the mortgage overload of the last decade, and this is the result. Dreams dying under an auctioneer's gavel.
So, $41,000. State your name and amount.
It's a nice little house. It's not too hard to keep clean.
After 20 years in one house, raising 3 children there, Mary Louise Cole took the place for granted. Then her husband left and she had trouble finding work.
When your gas goes off, the electric goes off, your phone goes off, how are you going to get all this money together, plus the money for your house, all at once?
Only when the sheriff showed up to move her into the street did she do what had previously been unthinkable: file for bankruptcy.
In some areas where real estate prices are down, the courts are using a novel approach to help a bankrupt family keep its home. It's called a cram down, and it shrinks the size of the mortgage to fit today's real estate market.
When Warren Smith got sick and business suffered, he was no longer able to pay the mortgage. He sought bankruptcy and a cram down, asking the judge to lower the mortgage from $52,000 to $35,500, its current value. The judge said yes.
This is a plan whereby you can keep your home, automobile, and then pay off other creditors in certain installments, which can fit into your budget.
The lending industry, arguing the original mortgage deal should be sacrosanct, is going to the Supreme Court and to Congress in an effort to ban cram downs.
If these cram down situations became more widespread, and frankly they're not very widespread right now, there's no question it would drive mortgage interest rates up. Lenders would have to charge more because the prospect of losing more is very real.
It's all well and good to worry about the mortgage industry, but I think people ought to start worrying about the individuals that make up the country. I think they're more important than the mortgage industry.
The only thing I can say is this house is my life, and without it, I don't know if I could function right.
What they're really concerned about is...
Harry Summer is a legal aid lawyer in Philadelphia. His unit guided Mary Louise Cole through the federal bankruptcy action that saved her home. It's expected bankruptcy filings will top 1 million across the country this year. Specialists like Summer have more work than they can handle.
Why do people seem to be having more trouble making the payments?
The most common reasons are really people have lost their jobs, or they've become disabled, or had big medical expenses connected with disabilities, or they've had marital problems.
The assumption is you buy into the American dream and life is going to be great thereafter. And what seems to be the case is many people have found they can't hold on to those houses.
Foreclosures are now at the highest rate since the Depression. Several of Mary Louise Cole's neighbors lost their homes even as she saved hers. The boarded-up windows reflect a chilling new fact of middle-class life. Holding on to a home is getting harder.
So,
Eric Ingberg, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Our competition uses a very sophisticated, state-of-the-art, highly precise device to measure their cars. Our car, the Accord from Honda.
Take the 50 most popular cereals in America. What if you had to choose between them based solely on the side panels? No brand names, no fancy packages, just the plain and simple facts. You'd find only one is low in sugar and a good source of fiber and made from whole grain oats. Cheerios. Compare the side panels and see for yourself. The choice is Cheerios.
Have you had your V8 today? Did you know that V8 juice has more vitamins A and C than that tossed salad? Wow! V8 is a nutritious blend of 8 vegetable juices that taste terrific. Have you had your V8 today?
It's kind of throbbing, and sometimes my fingers get stiff as well.
Today, it isn't aspirin, it's Advil for minor arthritis pain.
Advil just really helps with the pain.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
This man just finished an incredibly close and exceptionally comfortable shave with the Norelco razor. But to see how he got it, we have to go back to when he began to shave. Not just above the skin, but below it. Here, our patented lift and cut system lifts the hair so when it's cut, it can actually drop below skin level without the blades even touching your face. Try it, and you'll keep going back to Norelco for a perfect shave. Norelco, we make close comfortable.
One of the smallest babies ever to survive is doing amazingly well at a hospital near Kansas City. Get this, she weighed just 11 ounces when she was born this past summer. Today, doctors introduced their extraordinary patient. Health correspondent Edie Magnus reports.
If she looks tiny now, just consider Kathleen Masner is more than 5 times the size she was when she was born prematurely in July, only 22 weeks into her mother's pregnancy.
At one point, Katie weighed no more than a full cup of coffee, just about 8 ounces, about a half a pound.
Now at around 2.5 pounds, Katie is said to be one of the smallest premature infants in this country to survive. But her size is the least of it. At first, she couldn't breathe without a respirator and was at risk for bleeding in her brain, something that commonly afflicts preemies and can cause lifelong brain damage. So far, doctors see no evidence of such hemorrhaging.
I have full expectations that she's going to be a normal child.
But against a mother's hope are some grim statistics. 50% of preemies born weighing less than 1 pound will die, and those who survive often suffer brain damage. With round-the-clock care often costing more than $2,000 a day, doctors struggle over how hard to fight to sustain a life.
It's the biggest, most important question we're faced with.
I can justify it as a mother, of course, no matter how much it costs, because I believe Kathleen will be fine.
Kathleen now opens her eyes on her own. She even takes sips from a bottle.
She has such a strong will to live. There has to be a reason for her.
The doctors say if all goes well, she'll be home for Christmas. Edie Magnus, CBS News, New York.
The miracle baby, part of our world tonight. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Are you having trouble making ends meet, paying your medical bills, or finding affordable housing? Have you lost your job? It's getting harder to get by, and we'll tell you how you can make the best of these tough times. A special month-long series, The Money Crunch, Making It in America, continues tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. This is CBS.
Shame, 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 shame.
His car breaks down, so this guy shows up, tows the car away, and then he
presented me with a bill of $579.
But
I did not authorize him to do anything.
And another thing,
You shouldn't even be doing business.
I'm allowed to make a living,
But not without a license.
Don't let a guy like this take you for a ride.
Okay, so put me in the jail.
No, pal, we'll just put you in the Hall of Shame.
Why? I'm a not nice guy.
Tonight at 11 on Channel 2 News.
Shame on you.
Daytime TV's hottest hunks talk about their love scenes on Entertainment Tonight.